Sharp knives. Are they better than dull knives? They are, especially on a boat. Hi, I'm Nico Waters, and welcome to the Boat Galley podcast. I'm sharing two main reasons that sharp knives are much safer than dull knives, despite what you might have thought. Today's episode of the Boat Galley podcast is sponsored by FastSeas.com. Plan your next passage using FastSeas. Whether you are after speed or comfort, FastSeas will find the optimum route to your destination. FastSeas, making weather routing simple. Use coupon code GALLEY, that's Galley, for an exclusive 10% discount. That's FASTSEAS. And yes, when you're on passage and going places, you're probably going to be cooking. And if you're cooking, you're probably going to be using a knife. So, what's better? A sharp knife or a dull knife? People have argued that a dull knife is safer because it's not as easy to cut yourself. But actually, the opposite is exactly true. And there are two main reasons for that. The first is that a sharp knife allows you to be precise with your cuts. And when you're offshore or on passage or even in a rolly anchorage, being precise with your cuts means that you can be done with your knife faster, making it safer because you're using less time to do things. So precise cuts, easy to get exactly what you want. But the real big reason that a sharp knife is a safe knife has to do with pressure. If you think about it, a dull knife, if you're going to cut something, let's say you're cutting an apple, if you've got a sharp knife, the knife will do most of the work. If you've got a dull knife, you're putting a ton of pressure on that. And if that knife slips, and it's far more likely to slip with that amount of force that you're putting on it, that can really do major damage to you and maybe other parts of your boat. So once you've got a sharp knife, though, how do you keep it sharp? One of the challenges with keeping knives sharp on board is that often the only place that you have to store your knives is in a drawer. The problem with that is that the knife edges then just knock into each other and they dull themselves all the time. The best way to keep your knives sharp is to keep them so that each knife is individually situated, either in its own slots, like in a knife block, or a drawer insert that actually holds the knives individually one by one, and they're not in any danger of running into each other. Some people will use what is called a knife roll, which is a chef's tool. It's like a specialized bag with slots for each knife, and you roll it together. It's canvas, and it doesn't take up a whole lot of space. People will use magnets to store their knives. Whichever way you think about it or can make it happen so that you're not just throwing all your knives into a drawer, that will help keep your knives sharper. But the other thing you need to do is to regularly sharpen your knife. There's actually giving it a good sharpening, which happens through generally some kind of mechanical means. You can take it to a sharpener, you can get an electric knife sharpener, you can spend a lot of time with a whetstone and actually put the real edge right back on where it needs to be to make it super sharp. And then in between those major sharpenings, you want to keep the edge on it. You want to hone it. And you can do that either with a sharpening steel. The other thing you can do is have a little knife sharpener, like a handheld knife sharpener. Just a couple of swipes will keep those edges pretty nice and clean until you have the chance to go get them redone or spend the time with a whetstone or with an electric sharpener to actually put the edge back on the knife. Step 1, sharpen your knives. Step 2, store them in a way that they have a fighting chance of staying sharp. And step 3, I can't wait to share an anchorage with you when we're both being able to toast our ability to live this incredible lifestyle together. Thank you so much for listening to the Boat Galley podcast. We love hearing from our listeners. We love it when you don't forget to subscribe. We love it when you share us with your friends. The Boat Galley is all about making boat life better, and we certainly hope we've helped you do that today. Have the most spectacular week.